What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Nicole, and today's video is my September 2025 reading wrap-up, and it was meh. I'm gonna be straight up and honest, it was meh. I've only rated 2 of these books out of the 8 that I read. No, okay. Reversing. It's complicated. I DNF'd 1, but I didn't rate that, and I rated 2 books that I read, and then all the other ones I did not rate that I read. Yeah, that's why it's meh. Number 1, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave that book 4 stars, and I did a book review on that. I really enjoyed it, other than the switching back and forth of timelines that threw me off a bit. Couldn't immerse myself fully. So that's all I'm going to say about that, because I have a book review out on it. No spoilers, by the way. So if you're interested more in that, I do recommend it. I recommend all of Taylor's books. Like, all of her books are either 4 or 5 stars for me. So she's never a miss. She's always a hit, and we love to see that consistency. Number 2, Flight of the Sparrow by Amy Belding Brown. I read it, but I did not rate it. I, as an indie author, and also as someone who loves history, I was really excited to read about a young woman who was captured during the King Philip's War and was ransomed out to her family, and was a extremely religious Puritan, not surprising during this time. That's a really fascinating time in history, the King Philip's War, and devastating to the indigenous peoples in and around Massachusetts. And so I was reading this, and I was seeing that there was a lot of not Puritan views of the main character. And I was like, is this really her? And like, okay, this is interesting. Then I paused and I read the author's note, and yeah, a lot of that's made up. I understand only to a certain extent of changing history for historical fiction. But if you're trying to make a real life person something that they are not and never were, and you have no proof, I did not rate it. I finished the book because it was interesting enough, but I could not rate this because the main character was too liberal for a Puritan at this time period, and there's nothing to back up that she was this liberal. Now, if she was a Quaker, which she wasn't, I keep saying she is, but whatever. She lives in my head rent-free. I think that she's still alive. Now, if she was a Quaker, I would actually have more of a, oh yeah, that could have happened, because Quakers still are, but especially back in the day, they were abolitionists, and they were really, for their time period, liberal with women's rights, for example, and children's rights, labor. That's Quakers. Flight of the Sparrow, not Quakers, they're Puritans. It didn't work for me. It's really unfortunate. So please, historical fiction writers, can we just stay in the historical part? I get fiction, but like, oh, it's getting to me. Anyway, number 3, Master and Commander by Patrick O'Brien, read, not rated. I started this in July. It was too much ships. It was too ships. It was. My husband really enjoys this series, and he enjoys Patrick O'Brien, but he is really into maritime law, the Navy, just that type of thing. I'm cool with boats and ships and maritime law, but I'm not obsessed. You basically have to be obsessed to enjoy Master and Commander in the other books, because you can go like 30 pages on just ship information. No, thank you. But I didn't rate it because I enjoyed the characters, but it's all about the ship. Yeah, it's just an interesting month. Anyway, I have like no positives. No, there were positives. I like the characters. Atmosphere was positive. Okay, I'm rambling. Number 4, This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. Read Not Rated. That was for the Messed Up Book Club. I think Patrick was the only one that enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Do I know how to rate his like horror literary fiction? Not really, but it is horror literary fiction. I don't think it needed to be in second person. That threw it off. And it was switching back and forth between just first person, second person. That was a bit odd. And I think there was a little too much going on at the end. So, no idea how to rate it, therefore I didn't rate it. Number 5, I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. DNF but not rated. It got 150 pages in. And after a certain point, I can only read so much meta horror. And not just from Stephen Graham Jones, which he is known for meta horror, but I was reading other meta horror this year and even last year, and it's like, okay, I know how to break down horror. I read it all the time. I get the breakdown and the cliches and the tropes. Like, I know how you set up a horror book or movie or TV show. I don't need to read another one. Even though this is really about friendship, I don't need another one. So that's why I DNF'd it. Would I come back to it in the future after there is space between the, like, I don't know, 25 to 30 meta horror books and TV shows and movies that I've consumed the past 2 years, and, you know, with I Was a Teenage Slasher? Probably. I just need some time. I just need some time. Number 6, The Tenant by Frida McFadden. Read Not Rated, because while I am amused and very entertained, and I needed that for September, it was a dumpster fire, just like the whole of 2025. It's just shit. I'm not even gonna, we all know this because I've been saying it since I've been saying it since like February or something. 2025 has not been good. It's been shit. I need a break. And that book, The Tenant, was my break. Was it realistic? No. But it's what you would say a popcorn read, and you know what? I appreciate it. I needed to have a couple of days where I didn't have to think about anything, and I was entertained, and I turned off my brain because I was trying to use my shampoo bottle thinking that it was toothpaste, so obviously I need some time to chill. That was a good couple of days. Number 7, After the People Lights Have Gone Off by Stephen Graham Jones. 4 stars. It's a short story anthology, so I think that's really good for an anthology. There were a couple of short stories that I wasn't a fan of, and some of them did not make sense. That's why it wasn't a 5-star, but a 4-star. Yay! And also, yes, Stephen Graham Jones. I love almost all of his books. He has so many books, so many short stories, so many novellas. Like, you're going to have 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 when you have such a huge backlog where it's like, yeah, that's good. It's not great, but it's good. And good is good, right? And that was the I Was a Teenage Slasher. I didn't rate it. It was my first DNF of Stephen Graham Jones, and it's not even his fault. I'm not even going to say necessarily. It's not his fault I read and consumed too much meta horror. So that is not a him thing. And I will still continue to read Stephen Graham Jones, of course. I mean, I did that for After the People Lights Have Gone Off. And number 8, The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. Read Not Rated. Well, this is a very important book, and that's why I did not rate it. It is about missing Indigenous children that are often in this time period. So it's like Nova Scotia, there's Indigenous people in Nova Scotia, and this is the 60s, 70s, and during this time they would go to Maine and pick berries. And this is a story of Ruthie who disappears. And I read the blurb, and it basically tells you the whole story, so I was confused. I don't know if this is supposed to be historical fiction or mystery. I think it would be better marketed if it was historical fiction, and don't even say the mystery, because they put basically everything in the blurb. Now, were there some people that were surprised about things that happened, even if they read the blurb? I'm sure, but maybe it's because, one, I read so much that I just know how to pick up stuff. Two, I'm an indie writer and I write my own blurbs and I know how to set up blurbs. That could be it as well. So like I have the reader and the writer perspective, and I just picked up immediately what everything happened. And then I was like, okay, I know basically everything that happens because there's a prologue which did not need to be there whatsoever. It spoiled, the prologue spoiled so much, where I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? Like, it can't be a mystery, but people are saying it's a mystery. Okay, why did this happen? Just why did this happen? And that wasn't enough either for me personally, but I'm sure, and this happens, I'm not going to spoil, but this does happen a lot. So it's realistic, but it's also like an almost 400-page book, or more than a 400-page book. A prologue that didn't need to be there, that spoiled a bunch of stuff. There's the point of view with Ruthie, and then there's a point of view with Joe, her younger brother. I think there was too much going on. It is a debut novel, and unfortunately I can tell. But it is an important topic because missing Indigenous children is a huge issue, not just in the United States, but also in Canada. So I just don't know. I don't know. But I think at the very least, they could have said it was just historical fiction. They didn't need that prologue. And they needed to make the blurb not as spoilerly. I think that would have been better for the book. So, yes, September was interesting. I hope that October will be better. Thank you so much for watching my 2025 reading wrap-up. I hope you had a better month. Let me know if you did in the comment section or not. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!